Good morning, Dana. Welcome to the podcast today.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here.
Oh, I'm thrilled. We were just having conversation before we went on record, but I'm thrilled and very excited to be able to share you with everybody because you are I always used to call you my Oprah of sleep or
Aw.
my queen of sleep. And I still feel like that. And so I will let you introduce yourself to everybody about who you are, what you do, and why you do it. But yeah, Dana, I was lucky enough to find nearly 8 years ago, and I'll explain how the universe aligned for that, to train to be a sleep specialist, which is now my purpose in life. Other than being a mum, that's purpose in life too. Sleep is my purpose. So please introduce everyone to you, to them. Introduce yourself to them. Dana, that'd be great.
Yeah, hi, I'm Dana Obleman, and I am the founder of Sleep Sense. I started this journey 21 years ago when I had my own first son, who was a very challenging sleeper right from the get-go, and just felt like there was a lack of education, there was a lack of support around the whole sleep space in general. And I thought after I worked out his issues and did the research and put a plan together for him and felt the amazing transformation that took place for all of us. Like
Mm,
he was happier, we were happier. It just made the parenting journey so much more meaningful and enjoyable that I thought maybe there's a way to turn this into a business. Like maybe
mm,
there's other people that are struggling the same way that we were, and I can provide some light, shed some like knowledge on the science of sleep and why babies don't sleep well. And yeah, luckily enough, there was a need and there still is a
yes,
need. And
a
here we
very
are
big need.
20 years later, and sleep is also my passion and has been
Mm,
for many years. And I just believe that sleep is a fundamental right, and we all deserve to sleep well, and there's
mm,
no reason not to sleep well.
totally.
And so when we can help parents, find the path to better sleep, it just makes for happier families.
Totally. Transformational. I feel like we're miracle workers
Mhm.
sometimes. Sometimes I
Yeah.
actually not shock myself, but I think I talk about a lot about this industry is that when I looked into it, yeah, nearly 8 years ago. So a little bit of the backstory. I was stay-at-home mum for over 10 years, and I was always passionate about sleep anyway. When my eldest was born 19 years ago, my biggest fear was not enough sleep. So I was down the path of there was a book called Baby Wise and Save Our Sleep, basically. And I
Mhm.
just sort of read a little bit about it. I didn't take it, word for word, but the same thing. It reduced my anxiety. I sort of really worked on their sleep. And then I was really passionate about it over all of their time. I still am passionate about it, and they're teenagers. And I take their phones from them and they hate it. I'm 17. I'm like, yeah, and you need to sleep. So, I'm still
Right.
really passionate about sleep now. Um, so then Lilith went to full-time school, and I was thinking, what can I do to help mums? I'd been thinking for quite a while. And then one day I had gastro, and I was coming out of that and Facebooking, and you are based in Florida. And I did not know anything about the sleep industry at all, even know it existed. So this is nearly 8 years ago. And your sponsored ad came up, become a sleep specialist. And I'm like, what? No, because I thought, okay, well, you have to be a nurse or medically trained. And again, very long story short, I started looking into it. And there was another lady over here in New Zealand who luckily didn't call me back. She now I think she pumps out hundreds of sleep consultants a month. It's really
Oh,
unregulated and
wow.
flooded. Yeah, it's terrible, terrible, especially here in
Month.
Perth. It's terrible. So she takes cohorts of hundreds. It might only take 3 months of training. I know it's not okay. Like that's another whole story I'll
No.
get into with you. But it's just not okay to be doing that because I think people feel like it's easy money or money to be made, and it's not. Well, it is if you're good at what you do, I suppose, but there's a lot more around it just than sleep. Anyway, so she didn't get back to me. Thank the Lord. And then you did, or I think it was Michelle. And in this month to 6 week process of me thinking, oh, this might be a career. And, for me, it was an investment at that time. I wasn't working. And you were coming to Melbourne to train, I think, 15 ladies, like the
Yeah.
next couple of months. I mean, if the universe wasn't aligning, and it just aligned. And, so I flew to Melbourne. It was the first time that I'd sort of traveled by myself, because I used to travel all the time without the kids and family. Had the best 3 days, but meeting you straight away, I was like, oh, and I just asked a million questions, and yeah, it was the beginning of everything. But really, to explain how you train consultants, or how it was, I'm sure it's similar, other than having to come and see people. Not only we need to train and we need to study, you test us. So we have to have, it's quite intensive in regards to actually having done some of the sleep stuff, but also your support creating a business around it, and supporting us was huge and life-changing for me, and so there's the whole business part, but also the sleep approach. But like I said, getting back to that, it is a very flooded, unregulated industry. And I don't know how it is over in America, but it's actually quite dangerous. I have the 15-minute phone calls every day, and people have invested hundreds of dollars with a consultant, and it's just cookie cutter. And the parent then has anxiety. The child doesn't want to go into the bedroom anymore because of the stress, because these people are being trained like dot point, and it's really affecting a lot of families out there. So yes, in a nutshell, that's what's happened. That's where I'm at, and I'm so grateful that I found you.
Me too. Yeah. I
Amazing.
knew right from them. Yeah, and I have to keep my classes small because I invest so
Yes,
much
you
of my
do.
personal time in mentoring,
Yep,
and we had a connection right from the minute we
totally.
met. I knew you
Yep.
were gonna be amazing at this job. And because you're, in a way, everyone that comes in as a Sleep Sense consultant represents also my brand. Like
Totally.
you're your own entity, your own business,
Mhm.
but all at the back end of that, it's on the shoulders of Sleep Sense. And so
Yeah.
if I can't, give my consultants what they need in regards to support, then we're all going to fail, and I
Oh,
don't want that for anyone.
I know. And that's the biggest thing is like, um, I have also had other new, fresh consultants that have trained with this lady, I'm not naming name, but people can probably figure it out, that they've had the training, but then no ongoing support, and
Right.
again, that's dangerous. So the thing is, again, it's going to come down to money, right? Let's just keep it real for people these days. And this person's a lot cheaper, right?
Right.
Cheaper's not better. Cheaper is not better.
No,
And
very rarely is cheap better.
no, I
I can't
think
think of
never,
it.
never,
No, never.
never, never. And I think that's the thing that I've always loved about you, is you are very vulnerable and authentic. You share your personal stories with us, which makes us feel connected. Like it's not just here, you're being trained, off you go. You're very much, and always have been, like you said, we're part of Sleep Sense, and Sleep Sense is Dana, and we need that in this world. It's not about money making, and of course we all want to make money. There's no doubt about that, and you want us to succeed in our businesses, but you really provide this beautiful personal touch ongoing. You know, so then the other thing that I did love, and I do say this when I talk to people, I think if I remember rightly, wasn't your background psychology or early childhood? What was that before you founded Sleep Sense?
Yeah. So I had a bachelor degree in psychology, and
Mm,
then I decided, what am I going to do with that? I
mm,
think maybe I should be a teacher. So then I
yes,
got a Bachelor of Ed degree in
that's
elementary
right.
education, and I was
Mm,
teaching in a grade 1 classroom for a few years before I had my son. But
mm,
I never felt like that was, I liked it, but I didn't love it.
mm,
And there were lots of parts of it that I really didn't like. And I
totally.
just felt like, I feel like there's something more for me. I feel like this isn't it. Like this isn't my career for the rest of my life. I just kind of had this
Yeah.
feeling like, um, there was more for me out there. And, I really opened myself up to the idea that I would kind of know it when I saw it. And then, I always say,
Here you are.
I guess I was lucky that my son had sleep challenges,
That's right.
because without
Yes,
them, without them, I would have never stumbled upon
totally,
this. And it
totally.
just felt like, my calling, actually, when
It
I
is.
did decide. Yeah.
It totally is. And again, it's your purpose in life, I feel, other than being a mum.
Yeah.
What did I say? What also was I going to say? So also what I really loved about the training is there was a lot of biological science stuff, like
Mhm.
us. Well, we had to read the books, of course, but what I loved was actually understanding there's been so much research on humans around sleep, and I don't
Yes.
know about you again in America, but here in Australia, what's happened over the last 3 to 4 years, this huge trend of completely opposite of what's been researched. And they use little bits of the truth and then twist it. So, how can I explain it? So it's very much about um, gentle training, which is totally fine.
Mhm.
I feel like I've changed my approach a little bit. I use the stay in the room, which is your method. But over the time, probably, they pick them up a bit. I don't know, but it's still quite well, it's still very nurturing, but these people that
Yeah.
say they're gentle, are saying things like don't look at wait times, and children can't learn to self-settle, and all of this. So what they're saying is things like, well, babies can't regulate, or toddlers. Of course they can't.
Mhm. Mhm.
Human, we can't,
Yeah.
but we can. We can regulate for them. So I'm probably not making sense, but so they're twisting it enough to say, well, it's very normal for babies to wake 20 times a night and breastfeed, all night.
Yeah.
Okay. Then I say, well, okay, there's wants and needs, any age baby might want to be fed every 45 minutes all night. They don't need that. Right. But these
Mhm.
sort of gentler approach are basically saying that's normal. Don't change it, but do these small things and you might get some better sleep. And it's just not true, I don't
Mm.
think. What's your thought process on that?
No. No, I just made a post the other day and it said, uh, childhood sleep issues are common, but they're
Yes.
not normal. It's
That's
not normal.
right.
No,
There
it's
you
not. And
go. That's so
it
true.
is not. It's not. I
No.
mean, obviously, if we're talking about a newborn, they're going to be
Oh,
waking up,
totally. No.
times in the night to eat. But when
Totally.
we're talking about older babies, when
Totally.
you look at when you take it down to like the studs, it's all about the development of independent sleep skills.
Totally. Hmm.
If a 10-month-old is waking up every 45 minutes to eat, like that has nothing to do with calories. That is
Totally.
solely a sleep prop association.
Yep.
It's how they get themselves to sleep. It's the only thing they know. And I mean, the truth is, it takes a few nights and they start to figure out a path that's different
Mm,
and better, because it
totally.
means they're getting the rest that they need. And what drives me crazy, and you totally got me on my soapbox here, Donna,
I know.
but
I know. I know.
what drives me crazy is that it it's not good for anyone.
It's
It's
not.
not good for a 10-month-old to be waking up every 45 minutes through the
It's
night.
not.
They're not thriving. They're
Nope.
not doing the best that they could be doing. And their mom is obviously not. And even like
Totally.
partners and other siblings in the family, everyone's suffering. It's a
Everyone.
family problem. Yeah, it
It
really
is.
is. It trickles into
Oh,
every area of people's lives. And so it makes me angry. I'm just gonna,
me too.
call it like I see it. It
Yeah, it
makes
does
me
me too.
angry.
Yeah, because you know what, I have those 15-minute calls, and often you can hear as soon as they answer, they take a breath, and then we start talking, because I'm all about just telling mums how amazing they are, and they cry because they're so
Mhm.
lost. There's so much information. They're made to feel like crap because, oh, that's
Mhm.
normal that a baby does that. But it's common, but it's not normal. You are so correct.
Exactly.
And the beauty about what we do, and my journey, again, I'm by myself, so it's been my journey, is it never ceases to amaze me. Like, you can have the most complicated intake form, and I think, oh, Nelly, and then you have to look at obviously what they're eating. Again, another big thing over here, I don't know, over in America, allergies or
Mhm.
intolerances have really started affecting sleep, like cow's milk protein. There's a whole lot of things to look at, reflux, whatever, right? You've got a baby
Sure.
that's all okay. and there's no pain or discomfort and whatever, and it's just like wool, they still get there. It is a skill they can master. This is what I keep saying to
Yeah.
everybody, like breastfeeding, it hurts. You start breastfeeding for the first time, it hurts. They have to feed. They know how to suck, but do they know how to suck properly? Probably not. You've got to get a lactation consultant. You've got to get the boob in there. It
Hmm.
hurts. It takes over a month or whatever to get it sorted. Sleep is the same. We create
Right.
nurturing support, boundaries, and foundations, enabling the child to be able to do it, and their body does it.
Right.
Isn't it
Exactly.
crazy? Crazy.
Yeah.
Blows my mind.
And
So
wonderful.
yes, and
Crazy
wonderful.
and wonderful.
Crazy and wonderful. And I think like for yourself and for me, you've been, like you said, over at 21, it's crazy, 21 years, mine's coming up to 8. I'm just not going to change my thought process on this. Like no matter all the crazy stuff that's going out there, I'm not changing.
No.
And I know you haven't either. So it's like we are doing the right thing. Um, so that was my little story. So yes, so yeah, a little bit more deep diving, probably hopping onto that soapbox. What are your thoughts today in regards to the industry, the sleep industry, and
Mm.
yeah, I know it's tough, a tough one to
Yeah.
answer, and I suppose we've just sort of dipped our toes into that. But are your
Yeah.
thoughts quite similar to mine in regards to the wrong information
Yeah. I
being out
mean,
there, or
it feels to me like every week there's a new
yeah,
like certification program on the
yeah,
market. It's very hard to even keep up on who the founder is and what the
yeah,
methodology is and what the
totally,
training looks like.
totally,
And I think I agree with you. I think there's some danger to it. And I think that, I mean, when I started this career 20 years
mm,
ago, I was serious about it. Like I was
totally,
giving up my teaching career so
yeah,
that I could dive into this, head first and full steam ahead. It's a
hmm,
career.
yeah,
It's the same as if my education for teaching, it would be the same if you were becoming, a nurse or a doula
mm,
or a midwife or a lactation consultant. I mean, there's training involved. It's, and
mm,
you're looking at it from the perspective of this is what I want to do as my business, as my
yeah,
passion, as my livelihood. And I think that that deserves to be taken seriously, in my
totally,
opinion.
totally,
And if you can spend $700 to become a certified sleep consultant, like I don't think
no,
the person, like, that doesn't feel serious to me. It doesn't feel like the education could possibly be what you need it to be successful, not just in the sleep, like in the sleep
yeah,
space. I think,
mm,
most importantly, you need to be an educated sleep consultant because
yeah,
you might give the wrong advice, and
totally,
and and that there could be consequences to that. But
totally,
also in the business space, like entrepreneurship is my like second but tied for passions in life.
mm,
have loved helping women
mm,
start their own businesses and see them thrive and have a better work-life balance and make a good
mm,
income, and all the beauty that comes from being your own boss and an entrepreneur. Like that takes work and effort and
totally,
expertise as well. So
yeah,
I just feel like, I mean, I just talked to somebody the other day, and the person that she made a mistake, bought the wrong training. The person after the fact, she found out, had never even worked as a sleep consultant. Not had never even had a client. Just
stop
took
it.
No, had never been in the business. Just took like took
Oh, that's
every, like, kind of
terrible.
scrimped from everybody else's training, brought in the education component, and made a course out of it and
That's
had
terrible.
no real life experience. So
And
how
that's
can you
actually
mentor?
dangerous. And the thing is, for me, still to this day, because I suffered with anxiety and, all of that stuff as a young mum and, all the things I've had to go through personally, every single person I speak to and every person I work with is duty of care for their mental health. Duty of care for their mental health is massive for mums, maternal, it's just huge. So it's so dangerous for these people to be doing that. Like, I think it's really, really dangerous. And it's just, again, how do they get in trouble? They don't. How do they get shut down? They don't. I suppose the only thing is to
Yeah.
talk about it and share you with people. And when people ask, I of course, but I'll tell them about it. But this is the thing, is trying to make it really clear. If you want to do it, it's a fantastic opportunity, but it's not easy. You're dealing
Right.
with exhausted parents that are now completely, there's so much information out there. They think they sort of know how to do it, which I get it. But it's just, it's pretty complex. And also then creating a business on the other side, behind the scenes, is a lot of hours and exhausting at times,
Sure.
you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
Um,
It's a job.
it's a job.
It takes
Because
work.
everyone goes,
That's why.
how much do you work? And I'm like, look, if someone asked me to log it, I could, but it's on my mind all the time. If I try and relax, which I do, work really hard at doing that, I feel like I should be doing something. Like it's
Mhm.
hard for me just to go, oh, maybe I should make an Instagram post. It's like, but it's my
Yeah.
passion. I love it. But that's the thing, getting back to the way that if people are thinking about it, considering doing it, it is worth every cent. But I have done other big uh, certifications that I've loved, all the knowledge and everything. But at the end, crickets not
Mm.
even like how to create the business. Where do you go forward? So you might have spent like 15 grand or whatever. And it's like, right, okay. Luckily, I have all of what I've created is from your base, a blueprint. But yeah, people really need to deep dive into how and where they get trained. And the thing is, I think the biggest thing is it's still your passion. It's not just about pumping out
Mhm.
lots and lots of people. Like you said, you mentor, you support people, you're always available if people are stuck with clients, so
Yeah.
if people want to become a sleep specialist, you are the person.
Yes, thank you.
Mhm.
I mean, I'm not saying mine is the only program out
Well,
there, but I mean there
yeah,
are
there are lots
other,
out there. There are lots
there
out
are other trainings that are as good, I would
there.
say,
Sure.
but there are lots that are not. And so I
Totally.
think it's just important that people do their due diligence and
Yes.
really research, who is the founder, how much experience do they have, what is their history? Yeah,
Totally. And I think
you could literally set up a certification tomorrow
totally I could,
yeah,
and I
around
wouldn't,
this.
Well,
Anybody could.
like you said, someone's created it and not been a sleep person. But I think that again, um, correct me if I'm wrong. I think you had done 7 or 8 years intensive client work before it sort of
Oh
went in.
yeah.
You were still heavily, as you were building your business. You did a lot of years. So that's me now, which is thousands and thousands of
Yeah.
families over the years. And
Oh
wow,
yeah.
you know,
Thousands. Yeah.
wow. And the thing is, I think of the first 3 years, I burnt myself out so many times because I put so much passion into it, but took things so personally. But now just understanding you can't get it right 100% of the time, like it takes a bit, but 7 to 8 years of, I can understand why you sort of get to this point and want to not have as many clients because it's exhausting, but I love it. I wouldn't change it, but, it's quite stressful at times because people are so tired and they want sleep like that too, like
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
want that instant gratification, and that doesn't happen. Like,
No,
yeah,
I used to say to people, I wish I had I wish I had a
yeah,
crystal ball.
me
Like
too.
when they come, you are onboarding your new client and they're
Yeah,
so tired and anxious and stressed, and you could show them like in just a couple of
I
weeks, like
know.
this is what's going to be, and it's going to be
Totally.
beautiful and
Yeah.
worth it, and
Yeah, I
light at
say
the end of the tunnel.
that's exactly what I say. I go, so I am the light at the end of the tunnel. I said, so take that first step into that deep, dark tunnel, and I'm at the end, and it's going to work,
Hmm.
And even having that they often go, oh, you're very confident. I'm like, yeah. But sometimes I'm like, this better work, and
Yeah.
still I'm over like, oh, this is a tough one. But I won't give up for them, like it's really important. So yeah, we're all, that's why I love you so much, because we're all similar thought processes, and I've, like I said, learnt from you. Now, if people are considering reaching out to become a sleep specialist, how do they do that?
Hmm.
What's the process? I know you used to do it a few times a year. Can you run through, yeah, basically, if someone
Yeah.
was interested in it, what the process would be?
Yeah. I mean, it's really evolved like all businesses do. I
Totally.
think
Yeah.
with time, you kind of evolve your processes and
Yeah,
change things with the
totally.
times. I
Yep.
mean, I traveled to Australia to train groups,
I think
back then.
I think we were the last one you've traveled to Australia.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that was all
Yeah,
before.
yeah. It's
Yeah, yeah.
just so far. I
I
wish it was
know.
closer.
I know.
It's
I
so
know.
darn far.
I
Yeah,
know.
but then so now currently once COVID hit, that changed a lot of how
Totally.
I teach the classes as well, because I tried to take a live component, which
Yeah,
we did together,
totally.
and
Yep.
turn it into a Zoom, live experience. And
Yeah.
it just didn't have the same
Right.
quality. Like, it's
Sure.
very hard to sit in front of your computer and listen to content for 7 hours a day,
Totally.
with your kids around and the laundry and all your
Totally.
other
Not the same.
chores.
Yeah.
It's not. And so then I just realized that the education was suffering. People weren't learning to the caliber that I wanted them to be learning at.
Yep.
So we launched in June a new version, which is
Yep.
very self-paced.
Yep.
I think in a lot of ways it is more accessible, because
Yep.
people don't have to, either stay up all night to do a
Yep.
Zoom class with
Totally.
me
Totally.
in
Yeah.
Florida.
Yep.
So it's work at your own pace. You can, just do a module at a time. So I think the information sinks in
Yep.
better as people learn that way. And then there's still live support with me. So throughout the entire course, before you move on to the next module, you have to have a meeting with me.
Yeah. Great.
We talk through any questions. We look at
Fantastic.
your quiz or your assignments together. And again, that really allows me to get to know
Yes.
my consultants,
Yes.
build trust and a
Yes.
relationship with them so that they can come to me when they have
Totally.
challenges or struggles. So there's all that live component. There's still the practicum after,
Yep.
where you have to see clients, and I mentor you through the experience of working with real clients. So yeah, it's changed
Yeah.
a bit,
Good.
but it's
Good.
still, I think it's
Yeah.
even better. I
Oh,
think.
you know what? As much as I loved that, I loved meeting you, being in your presence, and I think all of us didn't. Well, a couple of people had small babies, but for us to be in that space was wonderful. But again, doing other courses, I loved when it's created correctly, which it would be with you, and still, do they have to still do it in a certain amount of time, even though it's
No.
okay, right? And so, how, like, what would you say? How many months, if someone was going to really dedicate themselves to it,
Yeah.
how many months do you think it would take, or weeks,
Yeah,
or
I still say 3 months. I think that's a very realistic
yeah,
goalpost for people. A lot of
mhm,
people have already jobs and they have little
totally,
kids, and
yeah,
this is something that they're, starting, but they don't have a ton of extra time. So I'm still
yep,
seeing people get to the graduation point at about 3 months.
yeah,
Some are doing it a little slower and some are doing it a
yeah,
little faster. It just really
totally
depends
fine.
how much
Yeah,
time you
it's
have.
about that, which what it was before, and then so
Yeah.
there was a component which I think was fantastic about how to create your business. Is that still
Yes, there
part? Is there
still
still?
is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's amazing. Yeah, because that's huge. Because I remember putting so many hours into it, but you had really great guidelines around that. And then when they certified, what happens with support from you, or if they need you after that?
Yeah, so that's stayed the same. I'm available. I use Voxer
Yeah,
for people who are familiar with that, where
yeah,
people can basically text message me 7 days a
yeah.
week. I check it 3 times a day.
You do.
I'm
Yeah,
available for Zoom meetings when people
yeah, you
feel
are.
like they need a
Hmm.
little more, like a deeper dive into
Support.
either
Totally.
cases or their
Yeah,
business. We have the Facebook group, which is an
yeah.
amazing community of
Amazing. Yeah.
like-minded women, all supporting each other, so they can have community there, ask
Yeah.
questions there, and get that support. And then,
Mhm.
of course, we like to meet up live as much
I
as we can, which
know.
I'm trying to get Donna to come to New
I
York, where
know. I think it's gonna happen.
so yeah,
Mm.
yeah. So community is really important to me
Yeah.
too. And again, I can't build community if I'm pumping through hundreds of people a
No,
month. Like,
no,
I guess
no.
can't do that.
And it's not about community when
So
they're doing that. That's the whole thing.
no,
It's not
I
about
don't think
community, but
so.
you are creating a family, a Sleep Sense family. That's what you've
Yeah,
created.
yeah, yeah.
And that's what people need these days. And especially it's a very amazing, you can have a great life, and I love helping families, and it's been life transforming for me.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just couldn't recommend you more. I know there's other people out there
Oh,
that might be just as good, but anyway, I had you
yeah.
and I've got you, so that's
Yeah.
great. Um,
Oh, I love that.
so
Thank
no,
you.
yeah. So yes, so that sounds amazing. So like, to be honest, like I said, as much as I loved coming to meet you in Melbourne, it would work out exactly the same in regards to learning and support. Wouldn't be any difference. I suppose it's exactly the same as what happened. I mean, my business is very different now as it was even a few years ago. But through COVID, I was always able to do Zoom consults, but changed my whole business, and I'm working with people in Italy at the moment, like mind blowing. So, like
Yeah.
I have changed. Yeah, most of mine's on Zoom now, but everyone's outcome's still the same. So I feel like that would be the same with your learnings. So yes, how and when do you do these? Like, tell me again about how people can start up to do.
Yeah, so all you have to do is fill out a little application. Just gives me a little bit of some insight into what their experience is, what they're looking for, what
Yep.
excites them about becoming a sleep consultant. And
Mm-hmm.
then they would book a call with me so that we can
Yes.
have a little chat about what their goals are and what they're looking for with this career. And then we decide together if they're the right fit, and
Mm-hmm.
then they get started with the training. They can start
Yay.
really anytime,
Oh, wonderful.
and
So it's
start
not
work.
certain times
Yeah,
then. Oh, great.
yeah,
Oh,
that's right.
fantastic.
So that opens the door too, because was sometimes hard for people. The next class is 3 months from now, and
Yeah.
now I got to
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
wait, and I don't want to wait. So
Yeah.
this just opens the door that
It's
this can
amazing.
be started at any time.
Oh, wonderful. Well, like I said, if anyone's wanting to become a sleep specialist, reach out for Dana. And I will see you in New
Thanks.
York. I really have a good feeling about that.
I do too. I'm going to
Thank
put
you
it out
so
there
much.
to the universe.
Yes, we like that. We'll connect
Yes,
in the
we do.
universe. Thank you so
Yes.
much for being my guest today. And I'll see you in New York.
All right. My pleasure. Thanks, Donna.
Bye. Thank you.